Set us free, set us free, set us free, set us free. In this dark hour of need, light our way back home, coming in from the cold, and we'll be all set free, set us free.
Hey, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Oh my goodness, my name is Andy, and I'm glad I'm with you today. And I have a question. When the next disaster strikes, are you going to be ready? We just overcame a big one here in Texas. Some of us had more troubles than others, and I'm so thankful that we came out we were unscathed. We only lost, at our house, we only lost power for about 24 hours, 26 hours, and we had some place to go. And thankfully, we were still able to help some of those that needed help, some of our friends and loved ones and everything else, that we were able to help them with food. And anyway, so I put together a list, and before I get into all that, let me tell you, if you were affected by the ice age that hit Texas, I'm so sorry. And if there's anything I can do for you to help you get through that, let me know. I'd be happy to do whatever I can to help you get through it. That's for sure. We have friends that are helping people with cleanup. We have friends that that's what they do for a living, is clean up and getting rid of trees and shrubs and all that kind of stuff and everything else. So if you need help, let me know. I'd be happy to figure out how we can help you some way. Now, back to today's topic. You know, when I was in the Army, after we would do something, we had what we call an after action review. And then the same thing applied when we would do the same. I'm an amateur radio operator, and we would go out and help with the situation, an event or an occurrence or whatever you want to call it. For example, hurricanes or whatever. And then we would have an after action review to see what we could do differently to make us more effective communicators, or in the Army, to make the situation better, whatever the situation would be. Hold on a second. I need some of this grape because I feel a tingle right there. I need to, hold on. Oh, that's it right there. That's good stuff. All right. So, an after action review. So, I kind of threw that together, and I asked some friends of mine, an informal survey of friends, asking, what would you do differently to be better prepared if this storm came again in a week or two or whatever? Or, because we're so close to the coast, if a hurricane was rolling in, or whatever the storm may be, or the situation may be, maybe a tornado or whatever. Now, most of our events around here are weather related. However, not too long ago, well, it could have been 10 years ago. I don't know. There was a fire that happened not too far from us, and the ham radio operators were asked to provide comms for that, and we did. But so many of those people that were involved in the path of the fire, they had to bug out of their house. So, in that kind of situation, are you prepared? Well, I've got together 2 or 3 pages on a PDF of some things that I've reviewed and thought about, and I'm going to cover some of those here. But also, man, I got 10 or 11 websites that have some amazingly great tips for you to start thinking about to prepare yourself for the next time it happens. Because, you know, something's going to happen again. It's just the way it goes. And hopefully we're all going to pull together again like we did for this one and help each other out. So here we go. Here's my tips. Let me see how many I got. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. I got more than I thought I did. I'm just going to give you 5. I think there's 8 or 10. There's 11, I think. Anyway, I'm going to give you 5 of them. Number 1, when you go to the store for your grocery shopping, pick up a gallon of water. Here's why. If the average adult, between brushing their teeth and having tea or coffee and preparing their meals and then just drinking water or whatever you add to water, if you make, I don't know, lemonade or whatever, you're going to consume, as an adult, about a gallon of water a day. And then a child will probably do a half to 3/4 of a gallon every day. So make sure that you've got that much on hand for you and your family, you know, figuring a gallon per adult and maybe 3/4 of a gallon per child. Make sure you've got that much on hand for however many days that you hope that you're not going to be in a disaster for. Now, we have gone one time, the longest we've gone ever, I think, without power at our house was 6 days during one of the hurricanes. Now, the city did not lose water at that time, but if that had been the case, were we ready? I'm so thankful we were ready. There's only two of us in the house right now. We were ready this time. We had, I think we had 5 gallons of water on hand plus 2.5 cases of bottles. And then we were able to also provide some water for different people and our daughter when we ended up spending some time at her house because of our electricity. So, got to have water. Water, arguably, probably not if you really think about it, is more important than food. So make sure you have some clean drinking water. Or if you have, I've got one right over here. If you have a way to purify water, you can do that too. Regardless. Water today at Kroger, I bought a few gallons just because I said I was going to do it to make sure that we replenish what we needed and have a little bit more on hand. Water today at Kroger was only $1.46 a gallon for purified water. So I picked up 3 gallons. Now, my point is, when you go to the store, buy a gallon of water. If you go once a week, buy a gallon of water. If you go once a month, you might buy a gallon and a case of water. Whatever it is, because something's going to happen again and you can use it. You can always use water, right? All right. Number 2. Oh, let's go back to number 1 a little bit. So every now and then, no matter whose water bottle, water jug you buy, sometimes they have a leak or they develop a leak. For whatever reason, maybe they got kicked. So I've got a great idea for you. We had this happen at our house one time and it ended up, flooding the carpet, and we found it thankfully, but still had to deal with it. So buy a plastic tub and keep your water in that. Because even if it leaks, then you can use that water to flush the toilet or whatever else. There you go. So keep your water in a plastic tub. While we're talking about plastic tubs, let me give you tip number 2. Store your keepsakes if you know a storm's coming in and you've got things that you would just not want to lose. Store your keepsakes in a plastic tub that has a fully enclosed cover on the top, not the folding lids. Why? Well, because if it gets damaged, water from the top, the water will get into a folding lid. If it's got a fully enclosed cover, then the water is not going to get into it. Why do I say a plastic container instead of a box? Because if you have water damage from the bottom in a box, then your whole box is ruined and everything inside of it. If it comes in from a plastic tub, then you're protected. So your keepsakes, your pictures, that kind of thing. Anyway, and you can pick those up at a good price all over the place. Today I went to Lowe's to buy an extra one. And would you believe they did not have, of course they didn't, we just had an emergency, right? They didn't have anything that I wanted. So I happened to go to Atwood's, a local farm and home store, a farm and ranch store, whatever you call them. And they actually had a great plastic tub with a locking lid. Now that's pretty important too, because if you're in a wind event, you don't want the wind just to flop open. You don't want the lid just to flop open because of the wind. All right. Number 3, you may not have a way to heat food, so make sure that you have food on hand. Here's the key, that your family will eat so that it doesn't have to be heated. Now, in our house, if you don't like peanut butter, you might as well move because we lay on the peanut butter. I love peanut butter. You've heard me talk about it before. Peanut butter and apples, that's a great combo of the right carbs and the right protein. And anyway, we love peanut butter. So that's a great thing for us that we can have peanut butter. Now, if we don't have refrigeration in the summer, we may not get the jelly we want, but we're still going to have peanut butter. Now, while we're talking about that, you may not be able to keep bread, or at least not keep it on hand, but tortillas are easy to store, and they have a pretty good shelf life. So something to think about. You can get you some wheat tortillas and have some peanut butter on. You ready to go. All right. So make sure that you've got food that doesn't have to be cooked, just in case you don't have a way to cook it. Now, let me tell you, if you are a man or a woman, but if you're a man who likes to barbecue or smoke or grill or whatever, man, get you some extra and put it in a plastic container. Get you some extra charcoal, some Fast Light. My favorite happens to be, if I'm cooking with charcoal, to get the Kroger brand Instant Light charcoal. That stuff is amazing. Anyway, you can also use that to start your other wood on fire in case you're deciding to have a big old hoedown. That's a good thing to do. Have a block party if you have that kind of food. Anyway, so you can always cook on a smoker, on a grill, whatever you want to call it. Number 4, I think. Let's see. That was 1, 2, 3. That was number 4. Make sure you have plenty of candles and batteries on hand. My buddy Paul said, don't just think you do, go check it. Man, that's a good point. But let me tell you one thing that we found. Earlier, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever, we went to Walmart. And I know you don't ever hear me talking about going to Walmart. We had to do it for a specific reason because I just don't normally go to Walmart. Anyway, we picked up a Better Homes and Gardens candle in a jar like this. That candle still has some in it, and we burned it for 48 hours straight during this event. That's pretty cool. I think it was like a $5 candle, but that's a source of light for you, and it smelled good too. So make sure you have some good candles and batteries on hand. You can pick up just about any time this particular funky little orange and black battery. I get these at Harbor Freight. Now, they're not the greatest for all electronic devices, but they work great in flashlights, and you can get 1 million of them for about $5. So go to Harbor Freight and get yourself some batteries of all different varieties that you're going to need. All right, that was 4. Number 5, and this will be where I stop today. In the event that you have an event that lasts multiple days, and let's say we're in particular talking about a warm weather event where you're just sitting there around the house with the kids or whoever, make sure that you've got some games that you can play, or crossword puzzles, Sudoku, whatever, something that doesn't rely on you having electricity for your device. And we'll get to that. Well, that's on the list too, talking about stuff for your device. But make sure you have some board games or some card games that you can play. And if, man, I'll tell you what, how easy is it to throw a deck of cards or two in a Ziploc bag? They're on here too. In a Ziploc bag so that you can store them safely, not going to get them wet, that kind of thing. And then you've got something to do with the family if you're having to sit around and wait for the electricity to get turned back on or repaired or whatever. Or in one time it happened, the cell tower went down, and then, oh my goodness, the thing that I'm attached to doesn't work anymore. Whatever will I do? Well, we go back to the Stone Age when I was a kid and we played board games. Actually, we played Rummy all the time. Anyway. All right, so listen, I'm stopping there. Listen, I've got a whole bunch of stuff on this list, and I would love to give you this list for free. Just let me know that you want my disaster preparedness checklist. Now, it is not complete. That's why I've got all these other websites with, oh my goodness, there's got to be 100 different things that I didn't cover that are on these websites that you got to check out. Amazing. Anyway, if you would like the list, send me a message, post a comment and say, give me the list, and I would be happy to get it to you for free. Just let me know. All right, be blessed. I hope you have a fantastic day. Today was Wealth Wednesday. I hope you did it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and listen to the end of last night's video because I talked all about it. All right, be blessed. Be a blessing to someone else. Tell everybody you know and love that you love them and that you appreciate them. And I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Show